Hello friends, in today's video we are going to make this simplified streetscapes in watercolors. Some of the elements are painted with details, drawn with more care, and the rest of the elements are represented very vaguely with very loose drawing. Without further delay, let us begin the tutorial. I have used a reference for this. Unfortunately, I am not able to get it now. So I have placed the finished image as a reference for drawing for you to understand it at the top right corner. Right. So I'm using a cartridge paper and a gel pen, waterproof gel pen, and that is Unipin Fine Line 0.7. I will give the details of the materials in the description below. So here I am focusing on the left side element, left side building and little bit of the hoardings and other things. And the right side of the scene I am planning to represent very loosely. Here while drawing, I am only worried about the big shapes, the boxy shape, the curvy shapes, etc. And not too much about individual details within the building. Right. The perspective is little bit important. Right. Once the building on the left side is little bit ready, I am shifting to some of the cars, and I am making a car here, and you can see that the height of the car or the top of the car is much below, and that is because the reference was clicked from a height in my opinion. So the eye level is slightly above the top of the car. So that is the reason you are finding the car has gone down. And behind the car, as you can see from the finished image, there are a couple of buses and a couple of more vehicles. Okay, so these are again treated and drawn like simple geometrical shapes. Okay, so this auto rickshaw may not be a simple geometrical shape, but most of the other things are a combination of simple geometric shape. And then we can add a couple of figures and other things. But whatever we make, I mean, you have to see them as simple geometrical shapes or forms, so that you can draw them much more easily and with more confidence. Okay. And the drawing part is fast forwarded 2 times. That means it is at 2x speed than the actual drawing time. Okay. But the painting part is in real time. If you want to see the drawing at a slower pace, maybe you can reduce the playback speed, and then you can watch it. Okay. The right side part is just a silhouette kind of a thing without any details. Right. I think we have finished most of the drawing. Okay. Just some background suggestions, and we can treat the drawing part as done once we do that. Maybe we will add a couple of finer details. Maybe an electric pole here. Okay. The major elements are done. Whatever we are adding now are some kind of ornamentation kind of thing, which can enhance the overall final look of the painting. Okay. How much details you have to draw, that is up to you. Okay. So my principle is that give the details to those part of the painting, those part of the drawing where you want more focus, more attention to be grabbed. So if you want certain area to be grabbing less attention, then you don't draw too much in that area. So whichever area you think needs more attention, there you pay more attention to the drawing and to the details, etc. So now that we have finished the drawing part of it, let us go for the coloring part of it. So where to start the coloring is purely your choice. So I am starting here with some of the darker planes of the cars. Okay. And you could equally start with the buildings, or you could start with the boards, the whatever. I mean, you could start anyway, but I prefer to start it in this way so that I can finish all these the vehicles first, and then I will switch to the buildings. When I say the vehicles first, I will not be completing the vehicles. Uh, some part of the vehicles I will be painting now, and once it is dry fully, I will be completing the entire vehicles. Otherwise, see, there is a chance that the colors may merge into each other, and it may not be very sharp. So that is the reason I'm just painting mostly the windshield, the front glass portion of the vehicles, and if there is any vertical plane, I may be painting, but the rest of the body color of the vehicles, I will be adding it later. And I'm assuming that once this is done and I switch to some other area, and by the time I finish the other area, this whatever we do now will be dry. Okay. Now let us go for some of this board, hoarding, or whatever it is, some strong colors, because I want some kind of attention here. It should be some kind of a contrasting element. So that is just my thought. Okay. So I remember that in the reference it was not this strong a color, but I have changed the color so that I wanted this to be grabbing little bit more attention and to make it more interesting. Okay. See, you can always change the colors of the things, and you can pick up your colors based on what kind of a feel that you need to finally give to your finished artwork. Accordingly, you can change the colors. And some red colors, some yellow colors, and some green colors. And we will see that later once we finish the buildings. Some of these colors will sort of merge with the background building color. So we'll see that later. Okay. I have used a cartridge paper here, A4 size, and the brush that I am using is a round brush, soft round brush with synthetic hairs. Okay. And I usually prefer larger brushes for the washes, and particularly, these days I prefer synthetic, good quality synthetic round brushes, which is kind of an imitation mop brush. So these are imitation mop brushes, and the brand that I am using for this current wash is Camel synthetic mop brush. Okay. And see, the right side and the central portion of the buildings at the right side and the center area, I am making it very, very suggestive. Okay, just I am making a grayish silhouette, and I don't want to give any details there. Okay, so I just wanted to cover that as just a connected shape. That's it. Okay. And with this, that being done, the center area and the right side area is almost covered. Okay. Now we need to focus more on the left side building where we are going to add more details, and maybe a little bit more on the vehicles. This I'm not happy with this. It looks too dark, so I'm smudging it slightly so that it doesn't look too odd. The dark touches I made. Usually, these buildings will have darker tones at the base of it, so that is the reason I applied the darker tones there. And for the overall building color, I have used a little bit of yellow ochre kind of a color. Okay. If you think that it is too much, you can make it. You can add more water. You can make it paler. And I wanted this area to be a little colorful, so I have added little stronger colors. And further, I know that the watercolors will usually dry lighter. Okay, so whatever the colors that you see now may not be the color that you see when everything is finished. Now that I am using some dirty color, some grayish kind of a color, and I am kind of merging everything together so that it looks like a complete building. And for the side plane, I am using darker tones so that you will find the plane changes. The plane changes are more visible. The front plane is slightly lighter, and the side planes of the building is darker. Okay. So let these green and red colors, all those things, mix a little bit with the darker tones, so that overall it looks like a kind of loosely merged form. or shape. Okay. I think we are getting the overall shape of the building. Uh, Of course, there are some sharper edges of the tones. So I will be softening some of these sharper edges. I don't want this much sharper edges in the final building. So I will be sort of merging some of these colors, softening some of these colors so that we don't have too much of sharp edges. Okay. See, the usually the bottom portion of the buildings are will have darker tones because of the shadows. Okay, usually the ground floor is usually darker in a streetscapes because there is no sufficient light hitting there. For as the at the top area of the building, usually you get more light and it will be lighter and brighter usually. Okay, now I think I have sufficiently smoothened it. And yeah, we can treat this building as mostly done. Okay, I might add some finishing touches later, but we can treat the initial treatment of the building as done. I splashed a little bit of water to create some texture. Okay, right. Now it is little bit of a burnt sienna and little bit of Payne's gray. So the gray color that I have used so far in this picture are Payne's gray, mainly Payne's gray. And currently for the roads, I am using a little bit of burnt sienna at the top, and I am adding slight amount of Payne's gray to make some kind of a gradation. Okay, I think we can treat the road part as done. And I am splashing little bit of opaque white color here and there to create some texture because I don't want it to be too neat and clean. Okay, and I think little bit of a taller building at the far behind can help getting some more depth. Now coming to some of the colors for the bus, I'm using uh, slightly orangish yellow for this. It is a cadmium yellow mixed with a touch of orange. Okay, and yeah, this looks, the overall shape of the bus looks okay now, and we can give the same color to the auto rickshaw. The top portion of the auto rickshaw is usually orangish yellow, and I think that is good enough. And let us darken the front plane of the car. It dried very light. As I told earlier, the watercolors dry lighter. So sometimes what you may see dark while painting may not be dark enough when it dries. So you have to pay attention to the tone change once watercolor dries. This is little bit thicker version of Payne's gray. It looks very close to black, but I don't use black color. Okay, I don't use black color. Usually black colors dry very dull, so it looks more opaque. I'm using dark grays instead of black. Okay, I think it is not the best auto rickshaw, but I think it is reasonably okay. And once I add the shadows, I think it will be all good enough. And when we add shadows, the shadow should be dark enough, first of all, and the direction of the shadow should be consistent across all the elements. So I am giving the shadows for the vehicles now so that we can keep the shadows consistent with a single direction of light source. Okay. Okay. I think we are pretty much done with the basic shape, basic form of the vehicles, and let us switch to some of these figures and change. The colors for the figures. It is something that is always challenging to me. You can pick up the colors of your choice. I just picked up some reds, some yellows, and some gray colors, dark gray colors for the figures. But if you want the apparel of the figures should be different, you can always choose some other colors. What you should follow is what you should focus is the tones. Okay, the tones should be convincing. Okay, The precise color doesn't matter that much. Some figures, and whenever you make figures, the height of the figures, what should be the height of the figures, you should compare with what is next to it. I mean, if you have a vehicle, then you can compare and decide the height of the figure by comparing it with the height of the vehicles. So I am comparing the height of the auto and the height of the car, etc., and the position of the figures to decide what should be their height. Okay, some kind of enhancement to the building, so that some stronger, darker tones. And I know that this is not the perfect building, but overall I think it will get convincing once we add all the details. These are some of the shadows, so that they grab more attention. See, the darker shadows are very important. Only the darks will make those light areas more prominent. Here's some suggestion for the bus, the front of the bus, and for the auto. Little bit of a reddish orange kind of a tone for the skin tone of the figures. See, for the brevity of the video, I have edited out the color mixing time, etc. But you know by looking at the image that which colors I am using, and I'm also trying to mention the colors that I am using. So for the skin tones, I have used orange color directly picked from the tube. Okay. And for the darker colors, it is either Payne's gray used directly or Payne's gray mixed with other colors. Okay, I think we are pretty much done now, and overall this looks convincing to me. Right. Now these are some touches here and there to add little bit more interest. When you should be careful when you add details, you may have a tendency to give more and more details, and you may soon realize that you have overdone it, you overworked it. Too much of details may kill your paintings. Okay, so be aware of adding details to your painting. You should stop at some point. Here I am using watercolor white picked up directly from the tube for these highlights. It is an opaque treatment, and if you want to avoid the opaque treatment using of whites in watercolors, you can stay away from this. I prefer using this small bit of highlight using watercolor whites, because that can add a lot of interest to your finished work. If you want to precisely leave white spaces of paper for these highlights, you have to be very much planned in your drawing, and you should be very cautiously leaving the white spaces, which I find as very much restricting my loose washes. Okay, so to me, adding little bit of whites in watercolors is okay for the highlights, but it should be limited to a very small extent. But if you are a very conventional watercolorist, you don't use watercolor whites. Okay, I think I am pretty much done, and we are mostly done with this. And I hope this video was informative to you. You found it helpful. And if you think this was helpful, you are finding it informative, please do subscribe to my channel and press the bell notifications so that you get notified whenever I release new video. And if you have any questions, suggestions or comments, please write them into the comment box below. And you may please share this video to your artist friends, artist groups. I am pretty much happy with the final results. On the left side of it, you get more contrast in terms of colors and in terms of details. And at the central portion, you have a lot of vehicles and figures, makes it very kind of lively. And on the other side, on the back side and the right side, everything is vague and very suggestive. I hope you understood the entire planning process, the painting process, the drawing process, and I have listed all the materials in the description below. If you have any questions, as I have mentioned earlier, if you have any questions, please do write them into the comment box below. I will be more than happy to come out with my answers as early as possible. So thank you very much once again, and we'll soon see you with another painting. Happy painting until then. Bye bye.